Hello, and welcome to Pick Apart TV, episode number 4. I'm Josh Paulison. In Pick Apart TV, I study a specific element of a TV series or episode, good or bad, with the angle of what lessons we can draw from it as writers. And today, we are looking at Gurren Lagann, Season 1, Episode number 8. Warning, there are spoilers ahead, so if you would like to see the anime Gurren Lagann and have not, I recommend that you wait before listening to this episode. Most of you who have seen Gurren Lagann probably don't remember which episode 8 was in particular, but you will as soon as I begin talking about it. This is the episode in which, and again, if you do not want spoilers, stop it now. This is the episode in which Kamina dies, which I just rewatched again for this episode, and seeing it again, I felt myself, I think the first time that I saw it about a year or 2 years ago, I cried, and I think that I started to just seeing it, get a bunch of goosebumps and, ooh. So, one of the things that's interesting is looking at character deaths in different stories. Sometimes they're handled well, sometimes it's just sudden and it feels kind of cheap. Something that was very interesting with Kamina is that I think they did a fantastic job as writers of the placement of the death. I feel like it sounds so cold talking about it like this, but if they had Kamina die earlier, Simon would probably not have been ready to be able to move on. It would have been poor timing on the part of the writers. However, if Kamina had died later, then perhaps Simon wouldn't have had the same sort of push. And I think that the timing was really good for Simon to develop as a character into who he needs to be for the second part of the story. Looking at some of the different elements that I think also make Kamina's death particularly meaningful, might not be the right word, but impactful. Throughout the story, Kamina keeps talking about hope for the future. And so when you think of Kamina, you think of somebody who will just be there. He's the guy who looks towards the future. He's the visionary. He's the one who has this all in his head. And so then he must be the one who will stick with us through that. He's got to be there for this to come forward. He's the visionary. Without him, what does the group really have? Do they really have the passion that they need, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the drive? Could they do it on their own? And so without Kamina, the first question is, okay, can people actually move forward, or are they going to get stuck? You expected Kamina in the future. You had that kind of hope, that imagination. Oh, this is all of the stuff that he talks about for Simon, but what about Kamina? We just assume that he's going to be there. I also, to me, I would view it as one of the best quotes in TV series in my mind is, "Believe in the me that believes in you." I love that quote. I love that whole setup and concept. I don't recall if it started in episode number 8. I would need to review that. But that's where it kind of comes to a head, and those are pieces of Kamina's final words. Believe in the you that believes in you. Trust in yourself and your ability and what you have to be able to move forward. To me, the biggest piece of takeaway for me as a writer here is never do anything without reason. Look at where the story is, where the story needs to be, who the characters need to become, and even if it feels like a sacrifice, I doubt that the writers had a jolly good time killing off Kamina, you can still time it in a way, and you ought to, that lets the characters become who they need to be for that time. And that allows the characters then to move forward so that the overall story's goals get accomplished. Again, if Kamina had died sooner, I don't think Simon would have been ready or the group would have been ready. It would have all likely fallen apart. But because there was just the major victory, and because of the timing of growth for Simon and everybody, I think that it was, as far looking at it from a writing perspective, again, I feel like this sounds so cold, it was the best time for Kamina to die. Thank you so much for listening to Pick Apart TV. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. If you would like to talk to me, you can @ me on Twitter at Josh Paulison. You can also email me at joshuapaulison@gmail.com. Not just my nickname, Josh, but Joshua. You can also check out my website, joshpaulison.com, for tons of free resources on story creation and development. I hope you have a fantastic day and enjoy the show.